Welcome back. I'm Dr. Cheek and I'm a licensed clinical psychologist. And today we're going to be keeping with the theme focused on coping strategies, but we're going to focus on them in a little bit of a different way today. Because today we're going to be talking about those hormones that typically are associated with us doing specific activities. And we tend to call these those feel-good hormones. And these hormones or these chemicals are found throughout our bodies, and they have the ability to affect our mood in both a positive and negative way, depending on the levels within our bodies at any given time. The four primary hormones that I'm going to focus on today are endorphins, serotonin, dopamine, and oxytocin. There are other feel-good hormones out there, and if you want to look those up, by all means, please do so. Also, when I talk about each of the hormones, I'm not going to be very specific about where they're found in the brain, whether it's the hypothalamus, the pituitary gland, or the central nervous system. I'll just give a general location, as well as whether they are neuropeptides, peptides, or their chemical makeup. That's not something I'm going to focus on today. Although that's very interesting information if you want to go down that rabbit hole, because the brain is a very powerful organ and it has the ability to do a lot of things that is like really, really cool. So if you want to look that up, I say look that up. I think it's really interesting myself personally, but I won't geek out on that and take you all down that rabbit hole today. So let's just focus on the four that we're talking about, and we're going to put it in very easy to digest informational terms. So first one is endorphins. Now endorphins are primarily found in the brain, but they can also be found in other parts of the body, such as the pancreas. This hormone is nicknamed the painkiller molecule or the runner's high, and it's typically involved in the process for regulating our stress, our mood, and our pain. Some studies state that the release of endorphins can give you a sense of euphoria. Also, there are some studies that note that endorphins tend to mask the feeling of pain when we are engaging in physical activity, especially when there is a severe injury or a severe level of pain, in order for us to maintain that physical activity or for us to continue to persist doing that physical activity or to get to safety. Those same studies sometimes show that endorphins may play a role in the release of adrenaline within our bodies. Ways that we naturally produce endorphins are through vigorous exercise or physical activity, through laughing and crying, oddly enough, as well as eating chocolate. Now, I would not suggest you eat a lot of chocolate or a high level of chocolate to produce this hormone, because then we're going to have some different issues or some different concerns, and it may affect other hormones within your body. But I'm just saying, that's a way you can produce it. Now, we have serotonin. Now, serotonin, to some degree, found in the brain, but it's primarily found in our intestines and our guts. And it's called, or it's nicknamed, the happiness hormone or the happy molecule. And it's typically associated with the regulation of our mood, specifically anxiety and depression, with sleep, appetite, aggression, arousal, as well as digestion. Now, serotonin, for most of us who've ever been prescribed any type of medication to address anxiety or depression, you are pretty well acquainted with SSRIs. Now, SSRI stands for Selective Serotonin Reuptake Inhibitor. And the reason why this medication is effective and reason why it's prescribed for anxiety and depression is because it regulates the amount of serotonin within our bodies. Basically, it allows us to maintain a higher level of serotonin within our bodies and within our bloodstream before they're taken up by nearby cells. Now, natural ways that we produce serotonin is through things such as getting access or getting exposure to sunlight, eating a healthy diet, engaging in activities such as meditation or yoga, or any other relaxation activity that relaxes both your mind and your body, such as massage. So those are natural ways that we produce serotonin within our bodies. Now, along with serotonin, we have dopamine. Now, dopamine is primarily found in the brain, but you can also find it in the adrenal glands, the kidneys, and the intestines. Dopamine is nicknamed the reward molecule, and it's typically associated with engaging in reward-seeking behaviors, such as completion of tasks or creating to-do lists. And some studies do show that there is some association between dopamine and drug use. Now, natural or healthy ways that we produce our dopamine, the dopamine hormone within our bodies, are through activities such as getting adequate sleep, eating healthy foods, dancing and moving a little bit more, creating a to-do list, being able to check certain things off of your to-do list, completion of tasks, goal setting and achieving those goals. And that could be both long-term and short-term goals. And we know that short-term goals tend to have a more immediate reward, whereas long-term goals have a more delayed reward process. The last hormone we're going to focus on today is oxytocin. Now, oxytocin is also found primarily in the brain. And oxytocin is called the love molecule or the bonding hormone, and is typically involved in processes such as emotional connection and bonding. Also, it has been shown to be released in large amounts during the childbirthing process to promote uterine contractions. So there are natural ways that we can increase the level of oxytocin in our bodies, and that's through hugs, physical touch, petting animals, positive social interactions such as like going on dinner dates or going out with family and friends, making those bonds and those connections, as well as sex. So those are all great ways of increasing our levels of oxytocin. So those are the feel-good hormones. And those are the ways that we can produce those feel-good hormones naturally within our own environment. And this is why, again, our mental health professionals typically stress the need or harp on the need to kind of focus on coping strategies and getting out and doing those behaviors that promotes the production of these specific hormones. Additionally, like I noted before, there are some times that we need to take medication, and medication can be helpful to allow us the ability to find that motivation to engage in those behaviors, because there can be times, and there may be times when our depression and our anxiety are so elevated that the ability to engage in these behaviors are just not present. And this is when medication can be helpful in the short term, or if you need it for more long-term use. That is something I want you to talk with your providers about. But be willing to do these activities, be willing to engage in these activities and see how it affects your mood, to see if there is a mood shift, to see if there is a mood change, to see if there's any improvements in your overall mood after or while you're engaging in these activities. So what I hope you take from the day is there are certain feel-good hormones that we can naturally produce in our own bodies simply by getting out and being more active sometimes, and also simply by being able to relax and being able to connect with others. These are all ways that we build or elevate our mood and help us feel better or feel good in those moments. I hope you've learned that from this video. I hope this information has been helpful. Please feel free to jot down any questions or concerns you may have. I thank you for taking the time to listen, and I'll be seeing you again soon. Thank you.